Oh my gosh. Nice fish. What's going on, everybody? Nick from 618 Fishing here, and welcome back to another fishing adventure. In today's episode, we are heading to the tiny creek of giants, which, as the name implies, this small fishing spot is home to some monstrous fish. On my last trip out there, I hooked into and landed quite possibly the biggest bowfin that I have ever caught, but unfortunately, my scale was out of batteries. I'm excited to get out there today and hopefully hook into some monster fish. I've just made it to the spillway that feeds the tiny creek of giants. I have caught some epic fish from this spot in the past. Let's see if there's anything living out there today. We have had one of the driest summers that I can remember, and I have not fished this spot in over 3 months. I'm very curious to see if there's anything still living out there. Let's start by tossing out a night crawler. All right, guys, Sling has it. Yes! Very first cast. All right, that is a great sign. We just caught a bluegill. Let's use this guy as bait. Now that we know that there are small fish living out there, let's toss out a piece of that bluegill to see if there are any big fish out there as well. Well, we were very quickly able to catch a ton of fresh bait. Let's go ahead and take this fresh bait downstream to the tiny creek of giants to see if that's where the monster fish are hiding. I just spotted a big fish. That is a really nice fish. I was not expecting to see him in this tiny creek so soon. This is insane. All right, let's see if I can get him to go for it. That was wild. Unfortunately, he was not interested in my bait whatsoever. Let's keep exploring downstream to see what other fish we can find. And we have made it to the tiny creek of giants. So far, I've seen 2 fish, and both of those fish were massive. Unfortunately, they were not interested in eating my bait. Let's try tossing out some cut bait to see if anything wants to eat this. Not a single bite from this spot. Let's keep moving. The further down this creek I've gone, the less optimistic I have become, but we have just made it to my favorite spot in this creek, this deep spot right out here in front of me. If there are any fish out here, this is where they will be hiding. Let's get some baits out there. Oh, there's a big bite. Fish on. Oh, what in the world is that? Oh, this is a nice fish. Dang, he's pulling out line. No way. Yes, we just caught a decent hybrid bass. This could be a striped bass. He seems a lot more streamlined than a hybrid bass. The very first species I saw in this creek was a really nice bass. He was the fish that showed no interest towards my bait. This guy just found the night crawler sitting on the bottom. See you later, buddy. Fishing has been very slow so far, and I have no doubt that's because of the cold weather we've recently had, but we finally caught our first decent fish, and that came in the form of that hybrid and or striped bass. I'm not exactly sure on what species of fish that was, but it was an awesome catch. I cannot wait to see what we hook into next. If he was living out there, there could be some giants living out there as well. Let's toss this bait back out there. Oh, there's a bite. Yep. Fish on. All right, bullhead catfish. Although it is not my favorite species of catfish, it is a catfish, so I will take it. See you later, buddy. Oh my gosh. Nice fish. No, he's off. No, he got wrapped around something. Oh, that was a giant. I have no idea what that was. I do know that it was massive. Hopefully we get another chance. All right, guys, Sling has his bait. Here we go. Fish on. Nice fish. Nice fish. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's wrapped up. What are we hooked into? What in the world is that? No way. Yes, oh my gosh. Finally caught another decent fish, a nice channel catfish. This dude put up an absolutely epic fight on the ultralight. Although this one was not as big as I think the other fish was, we were able to land this guy, and it is a decent little channel catfish. See you later, buddy. This water out here is incredibly chilly, and as a result, these fish are lethargic. I was targeting right up next to the bank in the shallow water that's being hit by the sunlight, and that's where that catfish was hiding. He picked up this entire weightless night crawler. Let's toss it back out there. Okay, something else picked it up. Yes! Oh, easy, buddy. He's all wrapped up. Dang. This dude is powerful. In the net. Yet another nice catfish. About the same size as that last one, and he was hiding in the exact same spot. See you later, buddy. Ultralight fishing is by far my favorite way of catching fish. It really does not matter the size. It is always a lot of fun to catch a fish with the ultralight. And when you do hook into a decent fish, it is quite the challenge to be able to get him in the net. Both of those guys put up epic fights. Let's toss this night crawler back out in that exact same spot to see if we can catch yet another. Fish on. No way. What? It is not a channel catfish. We just caught another bass in the exact spot that those catfish were at. This is so wild. See you later, buddy. Today went from a slow day of fishing to an epic day of fishing, all thanks to this one singular spot. There's a big bite. Another nice fish. He is all wrapped up in these leaves. Easy, buddy. There we go. This might be the biggest catfish so far of the day. These are not giant catfish, but they're not small either. And to be catching these on the ultralight is a lot of fun. See you later, buddy. It might sound crazy to leave a spot where I am consistently catching fish, and it probably is crazy, but I am after a monster fish out of this creek today, and I know there has to be one living out there. All of these fish we've caught from this spot, although they're not small, they have not been giant. Let's move spots one more time to the location where I landed quite possibly the largest bowfin that I have ever caught to see if there are any giants living there today. Ever since I moved from that one spot where I've caught all of those fish, I have not had a single bite. Needless to say, I am starting to regret my decision of moving. And just like that, we have moved back to the spot where we were catching all of those fish. The sun has mostly left the surface of the water. I do not think that's going to be a good thing, but let's get this bait out there and see if there are any more fish hiding. Oh, there's a bite. Whoa. Okay, that's slick. Fish on. No way. That is so wild. Oh, yes. It's another bass. It is so crazy that fishing can be terrible everywhere in this creek except for this one singular spot. See you later, buddy. Today was a perfect example for why you should not give up on a fishing spot too soon. After moving downstream from that spillway, my optimism was fading, but we persisted, and in the end, we had an epic day of fishing, and I had a blast. If you guys enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate it if you left a thumbs up, possibly think about subscribing if you haven't. I'll catch you guys on the next one. There's a bite. Whoa. Okay.